Yeah. Stupid amount. They pay stupid amounts for shoes. So they're very permanent seats.
Yeah.
And then you hand this over. Yeah, so when you finish paying, then you hand Oh.
Hey, Rachel. Yeah.
Hello.
That'd be great.
Part of the 77 million we're allocated for next year. It's quite a. This is very, very big. Yeah. Is everyone good to go? One of the more unusual press conferences I've done. On a basketball court near the water. How you guys going? Good? You excited? Yeah. It's going to be big.
What club are you from?
Willetton?
Yeah, very good.
Are you from all different clubs? You all love it? Is everyone ready? I might ask everyone to. Okay. There's a lot of people to keep quiet.
Stay quiet and get started.
Okay. Is everyone good to go? All the cameras, everyone's good? Thank you Thank you very much for being here today on the wonderful South Perth foreshore to announce Australia's largest ever basketball festival, and it'll be here in Perth in September. Perth will exclusively host Hoopsfest. This is the inaugural Hoopsfest and it's being held here in Perth, Western Australia. Perth will exclusively host all 5 games of the 24-25 National Basketball Season opening round, the pre-season tournament for 8 Women's National Basketball League teams, and the Under-18s Club Championship. This is the first time that all 10 National Basketball League teams will play in one round exclusively in a single city for championships points. And this is a big announcement for Western Australia, and we know that basketball is such a loved sport in this state, both watching the game and playing the game as well. Hoopsfest will also feature supporting events such as Sneakerland, Australia's largest sneaker cultural festival, plus an official fan zone including music, entertainment and street basketball at Forest Place. So as well as being able to go and watch the games, there'll be a festival, and those that want to go and experience and interact with players but also experience the basketball culture can do so in Forest Place. The event will also activate several of our venues and public spaces, including RAC Arena, HBF Stadium and HBF Arena, Bendant Basketball Centre, and as I said, Forest Place. So we know these types of events, they bring visitors from around the nation, and we're so pleased to have been working with the NBL to secure the first ever Hoopsfest. This builds on our record of delivering unique events to Western Australia. But I said when it comes to basketball, we know the incredible demand there is around the state. Kids lining up to be parts of teams to play the game, and we know the incredible success of the Wildcats over many years. So we know it's a much loved sport in Western Australia, and this is another incredible event to support tourism in Western Australia, but also support the sporting community in Western Australia, and in particular those lovers of basketball. I now throw to David Stevenson, the CEO of the NBL.
Thank you, Deputy Premier. I'd like to acknowledge the Whadjuk Noongar people and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. Today is a historic day for the sport of basketball and for the state of Western Australia. We are unleashing a new, powerful movement in basketball where the whole sport comes together under Hoopsfest, the first ever time this has been held. What you will see is all 10 NBL teams playing their opening round of the Hungry Jacks NBL season right here in Perth for the first ever time, and it will be headlined by a rematch of that incredible grand final series, Tasmania Jack Jumpers versus Melbourne United, and then into the hometown Perth Wildcats on the Friday night. We're also very pleased to have all 8 WNBL teams playing 2 games each as part of the Signet WNBL tournament. It'll be amazing to see Geelong United, their first ever game in the WNBL, will be right here in Perth. But it's not just at the elite level that we'll be celebrating all things basketball. For the first time, we will have the Foot Locker Under-18 Australian Club Championships. You'll have 48 teams, 24 boys, 24 girls, coming from all over Australia to compete for the first time. And many of those players are already on the radars of NBL and WNBL teams, and who knows, some of them might get to the NBA and WNBA, maybe a little like Alex Zar is looking at the moment. But it's not just on court that we want to celebrate basketball, it's also celebrating the culture of basketball, which is a unique part of our sport. So to be able to bring the world famous Sneakerland exhibition here, you'll see some of the most iconic shoes, most expensive shoes that really link between the off-court basketball culture and the on-court performance. And for the thousands of people that will be coming from across Western Australia, across Australia and international, they'll find a home at the Fan Zone at Forest Place. They'll have a chance to meet some of their favourite NBL and WNBL players, try some basketball, hear some amazing music and entertainment as a great way to build out their experience. But one of the most important things for Hoopsfest is to make sure that it is very accessible for families. So I'm very proud to let you know, for our basketball families, tickets will start from as little as $9 for kids, $25 for adults, and a family $60. So incredible value for people from all over the country to come and experience the premium basketball experience right here in Perth, Western Australia. So tickets will go on sale next Friday for the basketball family, so I encourage you all to jump onto hoopsfest.com.au, pre-register, because those tickets are going to go amazingly fast. And so when we think about this new concept, first time ever it's happened, we thought about where would we give it the best chance of being successful. Well, there's only one place to be, and that is Perth in Western Australia. It's home of the incredible Perth Wildcats and Perth Lynx, some of the most passionate fans in the whole country, and we know that they are going to put on an incredible show. So this could only happen with the incredible support, so I wanted to make sure that I thank Minister Safiotti for her incredible support. Tourism WA represented today by Anna Last, who have been fantastic. Venues West represented by their CEO David Etherton, and particularly the Basketball Australia CEO Matt Scriven, who's been an incredible partner. So we look forward to welcoming you all to the first ever Hoopsfest, September 17 to 22 in Perth. Jump onto hoopsfest.com.au, and I'd like to present the Deputy Premier with our first ever Hoopsfest jersey. Okay.
Thank you very much.
There you are.
Thank you.
24.
Thanks.
Thank you. Now I'll pass over to Matt Scriven, the CEO of Basketball Australia.
Thanks, Dave. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to be here today with the Deputy Premier, Dave Stevenson, NBL CEO, Christy Collier-Hill, Head of the WNBL, and some of the spectacular basketball talent that we have with us here today. Well, we're in the middle of an exciting phase of basketball in Australia, and the arrival of Hoopsfest marks a significant milestone in that journey. As been mentioned, to have the NBL and the WNBL playing in the same city at the same time, and alongside, for the first time ever, the Under-18 National Club Championships, is a powerful moment of unity in the game of basketball here in Australia. This event's even made more enticing in the fact that the trajectory of the sport here in Australia, and particularly here in Western Australia, and thanks needs to go to Fiona Notley, Nathan Cave and all the team at Basketball WA for the incredible work that they do in growing and leading the sport here in WA. The rise of our sport starts with the kids on the community courts, our clubs, our associations, our states and territories, and extends through to the professional leagues of the NBL and the WNBL, and all the way to the bright lights of the international stage right across the world. And what greater platform does Hoopsfest have when we get to see our boomers, opals, our rollers and our 3x3 women represent our country with pride in the Olympic Games coming up in Paris, and then only 6 weeks later being back here in Perth celebrating Hoopsfest. I too would like to thank Tourism WA and Western Australian Government for their support and pioneering this event. Without the support of Tourism WA and the Western Australian Government, these events simply don't happen. And to Dave Stevenson and the NBL for driving this initiative, and to the WNBL and the clubs for their commitment. I sincerely hope everyone is as excited as what we are to come back in September and celebrate Hoopsfest, and hopefully a few Olympic medals to celebrate along the way. Thank you. What do you think, mate?
Oh, over the moon. I think it's a wonderful concept to be able to bring the most talented athletes in Australia to one town to showcase WNBL, NBL, and then the next generation of basketballers. And hopefully a lot of West Australians get behind it, but more importantly, we see a lot of interstate travel. And not only do they enjoy the basketball they witness on the court, but then spend some time getting to see the beauty that we do have here in Perth and the state in general. So wonderful for all basketball lovers, not just in the city, in the state, and those who want to jump on a plane or get in the car and travel across the Nullarbor and see what we have to offer out west. But I'm over the moon for it because it's going to inspire a lot of people to get involved in a sport that we all absolutely love.
We're accustomed to RAC being packed for the Wildcats games. What do you think the reaction will be from fans who don't go for them but will be going to the other team's games?
Oh, the beauty of it is I'm hoping that, between the Coburn Cougars, the Wolves, whoever it might be, we've got strong basketball associations in Western Australia. Hopefully they go out there and they might support the Lynx, they might support the Wildcats, but jump on board and find a second favourite team. So go and get behind the Bullets whilst they're in town, or the Jack Jumpers, whoever it might be. So it's a great initiative to inspire the next generation. My daughters love getting along to watch the Lynx, but now all of a sudden they're going to see multiple games across multiple days, and I dare say find some new favourite players who might wear different jerseys.
Any questions from Basketball Australia?
No problem.
I'll clap, Damon. There you go.
Questions for Dave? Yeah.
The biggest issue over here from the sporting perspective is fixturing and travel. Is it 15 home games now and 13 away games for the Wildcats as a result of this?
No. All the teams will still continue to play 14 home games and 14 away games. This will be an extra game, so a 29th game for people. Obviously it's in Perth, so it's going to be played at RAC Arena, so it will be another game that the Perth Wildcats play at home, but it's certainly not replacing any of their existing home games.
But they'll be 15-14.
Well, we would like to think that it's a neutral game, but we know, having been to a few Wildcats games, there are no neutral games at RAC Arena.
Do you feel it's important from a travel perspective to help a team like the Wildcats? I know the Taipans are a long way away, and so in New Zealand as well, but it's important to look after the teams that do travel the most?
Yeah, look, I can't speak more highly of the players across both NBL and WNBL. Is they are always up for a game. They're keen to be able to showcase their skills. They're always keen to make sure they can connect with fans. And certainly we do recognise that both Perth teams play a really important role in the rest of the competition, but also have to travel. That's the nature of it, and we have the same conversations with the New Zealand Breakers. So I think this is a nice way to be able to showcase basketball in what's such an iconic basketball city.
Was there ever a thought to having games elsewhere, perhaps Mandurah, Geraldton, or is it important to have it all centralised?
Yeah, look, I think when you create a new concept, you always try and consolidate the level of energy and excitement. I think to be able to play so many games close to the city was very important for us, and particularly when you think about those 140 games of the Australian Under-18 Club Championships, we want to make it easy for those kids to play during the day and then go and see their NBL and WNBL heroes that night. So I think first year we wanted to make sure we consolidated in Perth, and then let's see how it goes for future years.
Adding an extra game or extra round to the season now, will that push you starting earlier, will you try to pull it back a little bit from when you're finishing, or are you happy with where you're finishing now, regardless of how many rounds you have?
Yeah, so we'll start a week earlier than we did last year. We'll still have the more traditional Thursday night opener the following week as teams go back to playing the traditional home and away season. But we do think we need to condense the season, and so the way it'll flow before finals will then finish a little bit earlier at the end of the season too.
So when you're aiming to be done by?
Yeah, ideally you want to be done by the end of March. Obviously in our sport where you've got a best of 5 grand final series, it depends how those games go. But what we saw through record crowds, broadcast ratings was incredible last year, that we feel like we've got a great slot in the calendar, and now it's a matter of just putting on the incredible show that these amazing athletes behind me do.
On basketball, and then other issues people don't need to stand behind me on other issues because I get random questions. You don't want to be on screen for that. Yep.
What's this going to cost the taxpayers?
Well, this is part of our events budget. So, as I stated last week, we have $59 million allocated for this financial year for major events, and we allocated $77 million next year for all major and regional events. So this is part of that package, and this is all about drawing thousands of people from around the nation to see Perth. What we've seen so far is our events calendar has drawn thousands and thousands of people to Perth. It's filled our hotels, our hospitality, it creates jobs, and we need to continue to put Western Australia on the map, and this will definitely put Western Australia on the basketball map.
Have you done modelling on, you mentioned thousands there, but have you done modelling on how many, are we talking tens of thousands, and in the way of how much revenue or money you're expecting to bring in? Are we talking millions, tens of millions?
Yeah, we do estimates, and we do estimates before the event, and we make decisions based on those estimates and other factors, and afterwards we then do an analysis to show the actual impact. And so we do that post review for all events, and then we release data on that. In the budget last week also we showed our return on investment as being very positive for events, and we'll continue to have these events. As I said, if we aren't there bidding and hosting these events, other states will, and we lose potential tourists. And the other point I'd say, it's about activating the community, and we know sport, women's sport, all sport is all about getting young people out there watching their favourite players on the courts, wanting to participate, and then going out and then maybe playing the game. So we saw the impact of the Women's World Cup on registrations for junior women's soccer, and having these types of events draw new people to the game and encourage young people. And with all this debate about young people, let's make sure we can bring their idols to town so they can see them and they can then try and emulate them.
Sorry, but based on that modelling, are you talking in general terms like ballpark? Are we talking millions or tens of millions that you're expending it to bring in?
Well, it's a positive return, and as I said, post the event, we'll provide that data.
How many years do we have the contract for Hoopsfest?
It's just this year, as I recall. Yes, just this year.
You like your sport. When you see that a team like the Wildcats will get the benefit of not having to travel for one extra week, and the debate around all the other sports, would you like it to be at the stage where it's not up to governments to bid for these events, and that most sports are looking after the teams that have to travel the most?
Yeah, I think they're two distinct things. And I think NBL is very different in its structure and history than the AFL too. So I think they're two distinct discussions. But I think this is good for Western Australian basketball. I just think it's good for, as I said, the community that loves the game, and also the visitation that it'll bring. So from my perspective, it's good for the community and it's great for the tourism outcomes. The AFL discussion, as I said, that's a different discussion, I think, because of the composition and the history of the AFL.
And then we'll take questions on other issues, so we might just get everyone to...
You guys can go relax.
Thank you very much.
Start bouncing a ball or something. Thank you. Yeah, if you want. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't think it's good to have other people standing behind.
No.
Because there are other issues of the day. Yeah. It puts them in a bad position. I don't like that.
That's right.
We need more light. I need sunglasses now. Okay.
Minister, I understand Australia has been shortlisted to host an NFL